Welcome to the TruExact Show, special rendition here, and I mean special. For you Cowboy fans up here in the Northeast, this is going to be special. I'm here with my friend Kev and RJ CHOPPY, half of the Shan RJ Show on 105.3 Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. And, you know, you've talked us off ledges many times. If, you know, the Northeast Radio Station, we're listening to Boomer and Gio, and we don't want to listen to Giants talk anymore, so we turn you on, and we need to vent. We need to hear you go after it. Before we get to the Cowboys, though, man, I want you to talk about how you got into radio, how you ended up in Dallas. If it's your dream job, go on, man. Give us your story.
Woo! You know, it wasn't my dream job. I don't know if I should say that.
After that intro,
I was a golfer as a kid. I wanted to be a professional golfer. I grew up in New Jersey. Went south to school, to college, Tennessee. I just wanted to get the hell out of the Northeast. I mean, I liked it. It was a good place to grow up, I thought. Mm-hmm. I just didn't really want to go to class in snow.
Yeah.
You know, I had an opportunity to go to UConn, and I was just, you know, and it would have been nice. It was a good campus. I loved it when I went up there on a visit, but you know, I just went south to Tennessee, and my parents, when I decided to go to Tennessee, you know, my dad was kind of looking at new jobs at the time, and if I had stayed up there, I never would have gone to Dallas. My parents moved to Dallas when I was in college, in Grapevine, which is by the airport. And you know, if I'd gone to UConn, they wouldn't have moved, you know, halfway across the country. But from Tennessee, it's really no different. Tennessee to New Jersey, Tennessee to Dallas, about the same. That's how I got here, and then how I got into radio is I failed out of business school. I was a business major, and I didn't do well. So I got an internship with a radio station here in ESPN. The ESPN station had just popped on. So I interned with them, and then their sister station was WBAP, which is a news station. So I interned with those guys, and that's how I got in. That's how I got into radio. I really just fell into it. I had no – I used to listen to Mike and the Mad Dog in Jersey as a kid. And I loved what they did. I loved the idea of doing that. I was like, wow, this would be great to do. But I never thought it was even possible. Like, I never thought – I figured you had to be in sports. You had to know something. Like, somehow you had to get that job, and I didn't know how to get that job. And I just kind of fell into it. I mean, I'm totally lucky. I don't deserve the job.
You know what? That's awesome, because that's a feel-good story for anyone.
Right. You can fall ass backwards into radio and death.
I make it up as I go. You know, it really is crazy because, like I said, I wanted to be a golfer. I wanted to be a baseball. School was the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
From the time I was 6 years old, I had no idea. I didn't even start getting above C's until I got to like 11th grade, and I was like, shoot, man, I got to apply for college here. All right, I'll be going to like, what the hell was the college? I was in Somerset County, New Jersey. I'm trying to think of the name of the
Raritan Valley Community College.
Raritan Valley.
Yo, RJ, I'm a Golden Lion for life. I got an associate's degree there, baby.
That's it. Raritan Valley. I was like, what the hell school is that? And I was like, I don't want to do that. I just don't want to do that. I wanted to go to I wanted to go to a big school. My dad went to a small school in Maine, and he always was telling me the last thing you got to go to a big school. You can't go to a small school. You're going to hate it. Go to a big school, get the football, get the basketball, get the fun, go big, go big, go big. And that's kind of how I took it.
Hey, look at me. I turned out well.
Yeah.
And where in New Jersey did you grow up? Somerset County?
Yeah, I went to Montgomery High, which is the smallest. Well, at the time, we were group. Okay, so you guys still do group 1, 2, 3, 4, or is it different now?
Yeah.
All right. No, we were group 1 when I went there, and I think it's like group 3 or 4 now. It's right between Hillsborough and Princeton. Okay. It's right on 206, right between there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I live in Somerset now, so I know the area.
Yeah, it's Belmead is like the mailing address. It was a great little town, quiet, sleepy, Pleasantville of America. I mean, it was a great place.
1 square model.
I was secluded from everything. I was sheltered from the world when I lived there.
Now, do you still have your Jersey pride? Like, when you first moved out to Dallas, did you have to like grown accustomed to like the environment out there? Were you getting like Northeast angry? I always ask people that who move
being
away.
nice instead of telling everyone to fuck off every time you do something on the road.
No, because like I was in Knoxville, so I was already when my parents moved here, and they moved here in late '97, early '98, and I was in college. So I'd already kind of grown accustomed to the South a little bit. But then when I came back here, I didn't know anybody. I didn't go to high school here. I had no way of meeting people. I went to the movies with my mom on spring break.
What'd you see?
That was my spring break.
Living it up.
What'd you see? What movie did you see?
Oh.
If you remember this, then
I
you
don't
really
remember.
did.
It was
I was
like
going to say, you really were lonely with your mom in the
It was
movie.
probably Titanic. Okay, it was probably, I don't remember. I didn't go anywhere. And by the time I finally met people to go out, I'd lived here for like 2 years. So, and I'd been in the South for long enough. So there really wasn't the adjustment. The adjustment was in Knoxville, because that's a big difference. New York, Jersey to Dallas, Fort Worth. It's a big city. It's like going to LA. New York, New Jersey to Knoxville, that'll shake your pants off right there.
Yeah.
That's
I can't imagine that.
That's
were you
when you growing up? Sorry, Scotty.
No, go on, Kev. Go, Kev.
When growing up in Jersey, were you a local fanhood, or were you kind of had your favorite teams were just all over the map?
All over. I was a Yankee fan. I was a Devils fan.
We're 2 for 2.
I was a Bulls fan.
We're 3 for 3.
Right. And so my dad was a big Cleveland Browns fan. Don't ask. Don't know how.
Yeah,
so I was a Browns fan. And then when they moved to Baltimore, I started rooting for the Jets. So probably around 95, I started becoming a Jets fan. They were 1-15-ish. It was terrible. So no, I was not a. I was all over from a basketball standpoint in football, baseball and hockey. I was right there.
Yeah. So it wasn't as bad moving to Knoxville. It's not like a weird, I don't have my home team here anymore because you were good anyway.
No, and college I was a big. I didn't care about college football at all. College basketball,
really?
I was a Carolina fan. My sister went to high school with Sam Perkins, so we were our whole family was kind of Carolina fan. That was in New York and Albany where I was born.
Oh, cool. All right, RJ, you're the ear to the ground for us up here in New Jersey. Just want you to know that. So, I don't know if you got any inside information, but just your opinion. Will the season start on time? What are we looking at here?
I was thinking about this today, and I put this in my prep email for tomorrow to Sean. If baseball's going through all these hoops, you can't sit in a dugout together. You can't. The first base coach can't talk to the runner. No mound visits. If they're doing all that in a physically distant sport, how is the NFL going to start 3 weeks later in training camp?
Yeah.
Like that to me is the question. How is that going to start 3 weeks later? And I just don't get it. I think there will be football at some point, but I don't know that it's going to be at the same time.
Right.
I don't know when we're going to do it.
Do you think they'll delay it or just start without fans?
Oh, I think they'll definitely start without fans, whether they do it on time or not. I happen to agree. I think it's going to be really tough from a liability standpoint to open stadiums to fans before there's a vaccine or before we know more about it.
Yeah.
You may not need a vaccine, but you may need to. And if you have fans in there, and I don't mean like 15,000, I mean a full stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you can get 15,000 fans in any NFL stadium and be totally spaced out and be totally fun. But when you start getting into half full or more, then you're going to be – because, I don't know if you saw the baseball diagrams, what they're going to have the players do. Players are going to be 4 seats apart and then 2 rows between each other.
Yeah.
I mean, that's –
yeah.
you're getting – at AT&T, you're getting 15,000 people in You know, I mean, you're using up a quarterback.
Yeah, did you see the Dolphins? The Dolphins said that they rolled out their plan with the I forget, it was like some organization that like deals with this on a regular basis for like but it was basically to get about that 15K number into the stadium down at there to say that they could go, you know, have people in there. But to your point, like if baseball, which no one touches each other ever, has to do everything, I can't imagine that we get started anywhere near on time.
Right, like the golf is going to be here in a couple of weeks, right? At
Yeah.
the Colonial. Caddies have to, like the pro has to wipe the club down before he gives it back to the caddy.
Yeah.
Like,
so how are you? Yeah.
This doesn't. I mean, how does this make sense? Like the guy's wiping down the golf club before he hands it out to the caddy. Yet we're going to have this when it comes to football. Like I just don't get it. You know, it just. But it's the NFL. They do what the hell they want, and they always have.
Pretty much. They're a monster, so they could do whatever they want, and I'll watch every Sunday. Literally, they could come in here and punch me in the face and punch my dog, and I'd still watch every Sunday. That's just that's
they also. Yeah, they don't have to worry about also like the player safety as much as they want to say they care about it. But I mean, the shelf life of a player is 2 to 3 years, so like. They're not really caring about any of this.
No, they're not. You know, the players, you know, the one aspect is like, you know, Major League Baseball, all these guaranteed contracts, the players, they can sit there and say no. Yeah. Right? I mean, you got a guaranteed deal. In football, I don't think you're going to have a lot of players say no. Basketball, you'll have players say no. Basketball is different, though. Like, those players are – you know, they're socially aware, more aware than football, I think, as a whole.
They're more in control, too, in basketball.
And there you go. They're more in control. Yeah. Like the NFL is in control.
Yeah.
And
because they know they got the ability, right? You only got – if the average life is 2 to 3 years in the league, who's given up even 3 months if that's your time to make it in the league? You know, they kind of got them however they want to do it. It's just up to them on whether they want to take the black eye or not for if they do open too early and – something goes horribly wrong, but I don't know.
RJ, the main thing a lot of Cowboy fans want to know up here, and like I said, you got your ear to the ground more, the Dak situation. What do you think's going to happen with that?
I think he's going to play on the tag this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would.
Would you pay him?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
You know, the idea that if you pay a quarterback, you can't build a good roster, I don't think is true. We did this on the show this last week. The dead money's more important than the quarterback. So the Jaguars and the Panthers are paying more for their quarterbacks than the Packers and the Seahawks when you factor in dead money.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Yeah.
The Jaguars and the Panthers have $35 million of dead money each.
Jeez.
One's got like 36, 137. The Packers and the Seahawks have more money to spend on the rest of their roster if you were to take the quarterback and the dead cap away. Just take those away. The Packers and the Seahawks have more money to spend on their roster than the Jags and the Panthers. That's why the Jags and the Panthers can't win.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the quarterback.
Is the Jags a result of the Nick Foles deal? Is that why they're the trade?
Foles, did they trade Ngakoue? Maybe that deal got me. There's a lot of things that may have Dante Fowler when they traded him.
Right.
There's a ton of things that could happen.
Now, what's the consensus down there in Dallas? Do you find the fans want Dak paid, or they're okay with like just seeing where this goes? Like, how is the consensus? Antsy? Yeah, how is the consensus around, like, when Andy Dalton got signed? Are fans down there okay with Dalton if he has to start the season? Are they looking at it like that?
There's some. You know, the question is, I don't know how many are the vocal minority.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, because you saw a lot of, just put Dalton in there. He's better than Dak anyway. Well, no, he's not.
Please don't.
No, he's not. He's not better than Dak. Listen, you know. Yes, I think a majority of the fans want to pay him. But in terms of the majority of fans that want to pay him, how many want to pay him long term, and how many want to pay him this 1 year franchise? Like, everyone's good with that, but it's the split from there. And then you've got your Romo fans out there still
That's me.
who don't want to pay him at all. And they don't need to come back and play this year.
That's me.
And, so, look, I think they can win with Dak. I think they can sign him. There's a question of, the only thing worse than not having a quarterback is having a good one, or an average one, I should say, paid like an elite one.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd rather have no quarterback than the 18th best quarterback in the league or 15th best quarterback in the league making $35 million a
like
year.
Joe Flacco.
Right, yeah.
I'd rather have nobody.
Yeah.
I'd rather have me out there. Because me out there, I know one thing's for sure. I'm getting the number 1 pick the next year.
Right.
All right? Or a top 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 pick.
Yeah.
Okay? So you want to have either a great quarterback or no quarterback. And wherever your threshold is, if your threshold's top 5, great. Then the other 27 quarterbacks, get rid of them.
Yeah.
If your threshold's 10, like I think you can win probably with a top 10, 12 quarterback in the league.
I agree with that.
Yep.
And you know what? Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. Anyone can win a Super Bowl.
Right.
But here's the thing. I don't want to build my team around the maybe, right? Like
right.
Nick Foles was a crazy outlier situation. Like everyone points to the Niners last year. Oh, you can win with a defensive line and running. Okay, you can if everything falls right and you force 33 turnovers and
you don't get injured all year and your team's able to go through. I agree with that you kind of have to keep that constant, right? And Dak's played well enough to be
right. To me,
constant.
Any quarterback, any team can have that 1 year and win. I don't want to build my team for the 1 year.
Right.
I want to build my team for the 15 year. And that's what the elite quarterback, the top 5, the top, whatever you think that number is. You get yourself the only exception to this is Matt Ryan. He's the only exception. He's the only top 5 quarterback for the last 8 years who can't seem to get his team higher than 7 wins.
Right.
I don't know why.
Except for the Super Bowl that they blew it at halftime.
Right? They blew it. And it's just he's like my hero because he's the most unlucky guy in the world. Right. But like if you were to give me Matt Ryan and I would say for 10 years I'm going to the playoffs 8 of those times, and I'd be like I'd be good with that. But for some reason they're the crazy, they're the opposite of the Niners. They're the outlier on the other side.
Yeah.
You give me whatever that threshold is for you. That's what you got to have. And
up here, all of our group of friends, like we spent the last 14. Well, until honestly, we do like Dak, we do, but like we spent 10 years defending Romo to like at an exhausting amount. To where like
the Romo versus Eli.
Oh my God!
Or the Romo versus.
Anyone.
And Mark Sanchez for some time we had to try and.
So we love him. We love Romo. He'll always like be number 1 to us as far as his Cowboys players. I have a Romo Eastern Illinois jersey. Love the guy. So Dak though, I go what you're saying. To be fair to him, the playoff losses and wins he played well in. I mean the losses weren't his fault. So like I look at that and I take that as a whole. The Packer game he played well in. If not for Crosby's weird ass field goal. 55 yards, and then he misses one next week from 35 yards out. See, now I'm pissed.
Yeah, I know. In Dak's 3 playoff losses, what's the common? They've given up 30.
Yeah. C.J. Anderson, was that the running back who ran for 200 yards?
I was there. I was at that game.
Oh, God.
I was on top of the stadium there. I mean, in his playoff losses, right? Because it was Green Bay, and then it's 3 playoff games, I guess.
Yeah, the Rams, and then
he beat the Seahawks. He's 1-2.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
but they've allowed 30 in both losses.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's
quarterback wins when you allow 30 points.
I mean, it's the common denominator for for us as fans. I mean, it was the same thing when Romo was there and they were good. They somehow the defense. Now, I feel like we've set up the defense in recent years to be more like speedy and opportunistic, even though we haven't taken the ball away. But they're kind of like, all right, like they're not going to be the thing that wins you the game. They're just not going to lose you the game. And hopefully they make a play here or there that actually can take advantage of, all right, we're up big, go get a sack. That's been more of the defense lately. And I know it's going to change under Marinelli, but that has been the constant of like, all right, and then when we get to the playoffs, it's, they are like the bend don't break. They are breaking over and over again and getting killed with the run. Every one of those games was running right up the gut and killing us.
And I wonder, will the league has progressed now where quarterbacks get rid of the ball so fast that edge rushers don't even have a chance.
Yeah.
Are the quarterbacks outside of Jameis so careful with the ball and so good that trying to build your team around turnovers the way this one's trying to build it is not going to work because they're just not throwing turnovers.
Yeah.
Go look 20 years ago at the amount of interceptions guys were throwing or more, and look now. I mean, how many guys are 11 or fewer?
Right.
So you're building your team around a system that is going to force you a turnover every 2 games. Right. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
So it's basically a league now. Just don't allow touchdowns. That's it. Like points, it's just points. Bend but don't break, like Kev said. I have to ask you to jump on the Romo thing. Was he beloved down there? Like, was he – because up here in the Northeast, we're around Giant fans, and, it's just so much hate until he retires. Then people actually like him. How was it down there for him? Because when we went down in 2014, we went to the Texans game where he did the spin on J.J. Watt, right? And Dan Bailey decides to miss field goals every game we decide to fucking go to. That's for another day. So it seemed like Dez Bryant was more of the face of the Cowboys when we were down there than Romo. Like, Dez was loved down there. So, like, did you find Romo wasn't appreciated?
See, there was like 2 Romos. There was like 2 careers, right? The early career, they were like, early on, 06, he was the fun kid.
Yeah.
07, he loses, he goes to Cabo, he screws everything up by going to Cabo. It didn't cost him anything, but it screwed up his rapport, his perception with the fans. And then from that point, they were like, this guy sucks. 8-8 every year, yada, yada, yada. And then was it 2014 where he had the punctured lung?
Yes. No. 2011, punctured lung, broken rib, week 2 at San Francisco.
Jesse Holley, who won the Playmaker show, ended up catching a 56-yard bomb.
Yeah. All right. So I think at that point, people thought he was tough, obviously, at that point. And then, 2014 rolls around, and they have a great year.
Yeah.
And the Dez situation. And then 2015, when he gets hurt, and we see what happens to the team. And, fans do this all the time. 12-4, 4-12. They do this all the time. Well, Romo's worth 8 wins. Okay. Maybe, if you want to go like that.
Simple math, yeah.
Simple math. So I think that really kind of raised his level, his platform. And then what you had the following year was Romo's back. We're going to be great. He gets hurt. Dak comes in. Dak dominates. Mm-hmm. And now you've got Romo fans who were here but were quiet.
Yeah.
Now having Dak fans like me who were like, oh, my God, this guy's the greatest thing. I just love Dak because he was the fun story. And selfishly, I said before the draft, we got to draft this guy. He's going to be a good player. He's going to be the replacement. Yeah. And then in camp, I'm like, oh, man, against the Dolphins in preseason. I'm at the game with Sean. I'm holding up the number 4 every time he does something well. And I'm like, this guy's got to start. He's in. And I wanted him to keep going. And the Romo fans come up, and the Dak fans, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They loved him. Well, I think they loved the idea of him after more than they loved him while he was here.
While he was there, yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense, too, because how many times did you hear from not just Cowboy Nation, too. I also think that Tony Romo got hate from other places for no reason other than being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Like, if Tony Romo had played for the Jacksonville Jaguars and did a bunch of the stuff he did for the Cowboys, he would have been, like, a loved quarterback by majority of the nation. But it was just like he would do so many amazing things that would get overshadowed by the infuriating thing he did. And he didn't have enough of the major wins, I think, to back that up with a lot of the fans. I mean, we all loved him up here, but that's a small subset, right? Like, it's a bunch of Jersey kids who are arguing with Eli Manning fans all day long. So we're just going to scream until we're blue in the face about it. But I think
RJ, were you?
Eli is better than Romo.
RJ, yeah, I want to touch on that. You were on Evan and Joe last year, right? Did you come up? And I remember you got in an argument over the Eli Romo thing. It's an argument we've had here. for so long, and I think you agree with us. Romo's a better quarterback, right?
Romo's the better quarterback. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
like the argument. Could you just please tell our Jersey friends who are listening why Eli Manning shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame?
Because he's not any good.
Oh, thank you. That's the perfect answer.
He's not any good. Like, I mean, should Scott Brocious be in the Hall of Fame?
Right. Oh, what a great comp.
I mean, he was clutch.
Yeah.
He had some big moments. He won rings.
Oh, man. Do you understand the amount, the people who watch this are going to be this typical Cowboy hater.
Right, yeah.
Giant hater.
Yeah, and the worst thing is I was a Jets fan at one point. So I mean, look, I'm a Peyton Manning super fan.
Yeah.
I make no secret about it. I think he's the greatest quarterback of all time. I don't even think it's close. Okay. I love the family. I love the Manning family. I like Eli. I think Eli's a great dude. Yeah. I would love to go golf with him. I would love him to be the quarterback of my team. Like, he's the threshold, right? Like, you want a quarterback that's going to just win you games every now and then. And here's the thing. You can't be a Hall of Famer when you miss the playoffs more than you make it.
Yep, I agree with that.
And, to me, I don't like to judge quarterbacks based on wins. What I try to do is I take when you ask me to do, who's the better player, first thing I just take the ring out of it.
Me too, yeah.
There's no rings involved. Neither one of them has a ring. Who would you take to play on your team?
Right.
And the answer is Romo 10 times out of 10.
I agree with that. I take Phillip Rivers over Eli.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's the Phillip Rivers argument in that draft class. He's the worst of them, but you would have a strong argument.
Yeah, don't forget Ben. Ben was in it too, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that Eli wasn't awesome. Like, there were things about Eli that Tony just. Eli was so hard to sack.
Yeah.
So was Tony, but for different reasons. Tony did it because he was able to move.
Yeah.
Eli, you couldn't sack Eli. He was so aware of the pocket in his prime. At the end, no. But there was a time from when they won the title in 2007 until about 2011, 2012, the Cowboys could not sack Eli Manning.
Right, he would kill us every game, fourth quarter, come back. You knew it was happening every time.
Every game. And it was amazing. It was great. And he was a smart player. He's a Manning. Yeah. Of course he is.
Yeah.
He just made mistakes. He took some chances. And part of that shucks bullshit that he had that threw in there, and it was great. And it
big
it was something that him and his brother only have, but it was, golly gee, I'm just going here and throw an interception. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to come back and I'll just throw a touchdown. I mean, that's what it was. And it's what made him, he didn't care. That's the one thing I loved about Eli. He didn't care.
Yeah.
His brother cared. And I think that was part of that was an issue for him at one point in his career. Eli never cared. Eli knew what his standing was.
Yeah.
He knew it didn't matter if he won 5 Super Bowls. He was never even going to sit at the big boy table in his own family.
Right. Yeah.
He knew he was never going to be his brother. So he just went out there and played carefree and loose, and his older brother's trying to worry about, having more rings than Tom Brady.
I would actually venture to say, I could be off, but in his entire career, Eli was probably never a top 5 quarterback in the league at the time. I don't think in any part of his career he was, personally. I could be wrong, maybe 1 or 2 years, and I hate to turn this into an Eli bashing, but
there was a time when they had plaques. Were they 12-4 the year after they won the title?
2008. I think they started off 10-1, and then Plaque shot himself. They went 2-3 afterwards or something.
He was a top 5 player in the league, quarterback in the league. Because let's see, you would have had Tom, you would have had his brother.
Yeah,
who both would have been better.
Breeze.
Rogers wasn't there yet. Favre was on the way down. Favre was with the Jets in 08.
Yeah.
Breeze was there.
Breeze was starting up with Sean Payton.
He was starting. Right? Rivers would have been there, maybe.
Rivers and Big Ben. I was going to say Big Ben was at that point.
Ben was a bus driver at that time still, right?
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's true.
And 08, Tom was hurt. Tom was out. I think you can make a case.
Well, what about McNabb? I don't even think Eli was ever the best quarterback in his division.
By the time Eli got good, McNabb was skipping rocks down the
Yeah, but Romo was better.
Romo was better.
Yeah. So
but I mean, I fell into that trap though before I started becoming, more, analytical. I thought Eli was better than Romo at that time. I'll admit that. Yeah. I was wrong. I mean, I didn't see the light.
It's funny how it took him to win 2 Super Bowls for you to switch sides.
I'm the only guy that turns on you after you win time. Like it's
you're successful.
It's
I don't want to hear from you ever again.
Yeah. But again, I mean, Eli's a good player, but Tony was better.
I agree with that.
Tony was just a better quarterback, and there's not really a metric you can use that will show that Eli is a better player than Tony.
Mm-hmm.
I was shown this on Twitter today. It was, and these are real advanced metrics. It was like completion percentage above analytics, which I think is called CPOE, a few others, and it's all of Tony's seasons on the far right side of the chart, and all of Eli Manning's on the bottom left. And it's one of those charts that goes like that. And here's Tony, and it's not even close.
Right.
It's not even close.
Now, you actually said recently on Twitter when I messaged you, you were going at it with people. You think Dak's better than Russell Wilson, correct?
No. Mm-mm. I think Dak. No. I don't think there's a huge difference.
Okay.
All right. Dak in his last 4 years is not necessarily better. He's not a better player than Russ over these last 4. Their production's been similar, right?
Okay.
Dak, and I don't remember the exact – I think it was QBR, adjusted net yards per attempt, and then DVOA, which is Football Outsiders.
Yeah.
All those were, like, pretty linked.
Yeah, they are
their average ranking. Close. One was 12 and one was 13 and 1. One was 8, one was 11 in the other one. They're pretty close. So the production level's been about the same. I would take Russ if you had to give me the choice of one of the two. I would take Russ, but it's close enough to where, hey, this guy's in year 4 at 26, and that guy's 31.
Right.
So I wouldn't necessarily trade the other. I wouldn't trade Dak for Russ. I mean, you might be better for next 2 years, but for the next 10, you wouldn't.
That makes sense.
And I always look. I'm always the guy, I care more about the next 10 years than the next 2 years. I don't care more about it, but you got to weigh what you are.
Bigger picture,
if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you care more about the next 2 years than the next 10.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't know what Tom has. But if you're the Dallas Cowboys right now, you care more about the next 10.
Yeah, you want the sustained success. I mean, they have the pieces in place to be able to do that, right? At least for hopefully 5. But I would argue in that sense between the two of them, just from the eye test. Now, I don't watch enough Seahawks games, but Dak can miss some throws because of his arm and some throws that I don't think he will ever make in his career because that's what his arm is. That's why it was a 4th-round pick, not a 1st-round pick. And there are throws that Russ makes that are, evidence of, a top-tier quarterback.
Right. Dak does have – he's going to have limitations at some point, okay? Like, guys who are picked number 1 overall – go look at them. With the exception of Baker and Kyler, they all look the same. Yeah. They're 6'5", they got huge arms, and they're accurate.
A rocket for an arm because you can't teach that part.
Yeah, you're now the one outlier to that maybe Cam, and he's not accurate.
Right.
But he's 6'5", he's got a laser arm, and he's big, right? Just a big Jameis, big guy, big arm.
Yeah.
Sam Bradford. Big guy, big arm. Like the number 1, the guys who are picked in the 4th round are there probably because of 2 things. 1, off the field. 2, can't throw. 3, small. I mean, like that's it. There's not a whole lot of reasons why.
Now, RJ, do you feel like when you're doing your show you have to walk on eggshells because Jerry might be listening?
No.
Get the call from the big boss in on the super yacht.
Because do you do his show? You interview him?
Yeah, every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. So, like, how?
Well, during the season, every Tuesday.
Yeah, I doubt he wants to be bothered when he's not working. But how is that interviewing him? Are you intimidated at all? Or the first time you did it, were you intimidated?
Yeah, I probably was. Yeah, I definitely was.
So you don't walk on eggshells, though?
Like during the regular course of the year?
No.
No.
Oh,
No, like if we were to get personal, you know, we were to make fun of how he dresses or whatever. Yeah, we were to get personal with him, he would have a problem with that. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like if we say now, if he feels like he's being misrepresented, he'll call.
Okay.
He'll call in.
That's yeah.
And we've had that before. I don't think we had it once with us when after he got off the air, we said they were lying about something. I don't remember what it was. It may have been the Dez tape. And it was like, we caught him in a lie. We caught him in a lie. And he called back. He's like, bro, I ain't lying to you. And then he's called back other shows where he's called in because he heard them talk about him and misrepresent how the organizational structure is. He's like, guys, you guys are full of shit. And he'll curse on air. He doesn't care. Yeah. You know what it was? When Sean Lee, when he told us he didn't know about Sean Lee's injury, or he made it sound like Sean didn't have an injury, we're like, this guy doesn't even know that Sean's hurt. And he goes, listen out here. I know about everything that's going on. So, no, he does. He's really good about it. Cuban's really good about it. He doesn't care. The Rangers and the Stars maybe a little bit more sensitive. I think the Rangers are sensitive because it's an ownership group that people don't like. They don't think they spend a lot of money. It's a general manager who I think is very good at what he does, but he is the Harvard kid. He's really from Cornell. But people come at them like, oh, you never played baseball. What the hell do you know?
Right, yeah.
And I think there's a built-in sensitivity to that. And I get it. I didn't play Major League Baseball. I would love to run a baseball team.
Right.
No, yeah.
I think I'd be great at it. You know, I would love to try it. Who knows?
I mean, Kev and I have great success in running Madden franchises, so we probably,
You know, and let's see. I moved out of there, I moved out of Jersey in '97. So Cashman wasn't there yet. It was Stick and Bob Watson.
Yeah.
Running the Yankees. So I don't remember what the talk shows were like with Cashman, but I bet you it's the same thing. You know, oh, you never played the game. And I think a lot of guys still go through that.
It's more up here with the Yanks. You know, we want to win every year, and we expect to win every year, which we should because we're the Yankees, and we should spend all the money. We wanted Bryce Harper. We wanted Manny Machado. I want everybody. That's just me personally.
Yeah, it's just all selfish because it's not your money. So they have a whole bit.
I always wondered this because when I was living up there, and the hosts were this way anyway, it was Yankees like 12 months a year except Monday and Friday during football season, right?
Yeah.
It was all Yankee time. But now, you know, Francesa's gone and
there's all Mets fans on WFAN.
Is it still a baseball town? Like it's still baseball on the radio, or are the hosts not baseball guys anymore? And you got to go to K if you want baseball.
No, the host. Well, they switched them up. You got the morning Boomer and Gio do everything pretty much.
Yeah.
But then they made Moose and Maggie, not to knock them. I kind of switch over to ESPN, and you got DiPietro. So that's like a mix of hockey with Canty, who does football, and Rothenberg. Yeah. So Rothenberg knows everything. It's a mix of everything, if I'm going to be honest. But Joe and Evan are my favorite. I love Joe and Evan. I think they're the best, personally.
But it's not baseball.
No.
And also, I think it's all because, well, it's weird. You think it would be when the Yanks are good, it does definitely shift back to baseball a lot more.
They're the golden
They haven't been good, but like last year, the last 2 years when they've been, you know, on the cusp of World Series, everybody's talking about them. It also just happens to coincide with the fact that the Giants stink, the Jets stink, the Mets stink. The Islanders stink. The Rangers. Well, actually, the Islanders have been good. Sorry, the Rangers.
The Knicks stink.
This year they were going good. The Knicks stink.
It might be the worst era of sports in New York. It really might be.
It's horrible.
So I mean, baseball does make its comeback in that scenario for the Yanks being
like
good.
Philadelphia right now is better sports. Like that's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
My brother's an Eagle fan, so that's exhausting to be around. It's fucking annoying. But, so a couple more things. Jason Garret, how was when he was towards the end of his tenure, because I wanted him fired in 2011 when he iced his own kicker. That's just me. So how was the consensus?
Yeah.
As the years are progressing, I'm mad talking about it, and I know he's
carrot. Yeah, how quick did the clapping carrot get? Just everyone hating it.
Every year, more people jumped on the anti-Jason bandwagon.
I know. I'm sure he's a nice guy too. I'm sure he's a wonderful guy.
Great guy. I love him. I honestly, I don't think he was the problem. I think there's a whole mess of issues here. I think they've had some bad luck.
Yes.
How is Jason received differently if Gene Steratore says it's a catch?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I say he mitigated risk to everyone argued over the 9 and 7, but to your point before, RJ, you're trying to build sustainable, going for 10 years. He got us just close enough to get in the dance every year, and all you got to do is, just Jerry says, make the playoffs, and then anything can happen.
Yeah.
But some of his stuff was just infuriating towards the end.
It was. It absolutely was.
Just had to be gone.
And I was done with him too when we played the Titans on a Monday night when we went 3-5. Remember that one year? And we missed a field goal, and they go to the sideline. He's fucking clapping. Why are you clapping? You should be mad.
I do that to get my kids in the car. Guys, let's go. We got to get in the car right now. Come on. We're going in. I do it all the time. It got progressively worse here. But again, I always go back to this. Two things. He had a better winning percentage as the Cowboys head coach than Jimmy Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if Dez makes that catch, if they call it a catch, what's his legacy now?
Yeah.
What's his legacy if Aaron Rodgers doesn't make one of the 5 best throws we've ever seen? And there are parts of that game I could pinpoint and be like, all right, you screwed that one up. You left time on the clock because you passed the ball, you didn't run it, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is. I get it all. It's all there. But think of the bad luck the Cowboys have had.
Horrible.
In the last 10 years.
Bro, DeMarco Murray fumbling. That play was bigger than the Dez catch. The fumble by DeMarco Murray. You're up what?
The fumble, the catch, the fact that Romo, who doesn't miss open men, missed the fact that, was it Whitner Beasley was wide open right there in the middle of the field.
Let's not forget the Miles Austin, the ball. He loses the ball in the lights. That game.
Or Patrick Creighton in 2007 when their team was destined to go and he drops a wide open slant and then we go down the field and fucking lose.
And then you get to the Rodgers pass, Mason Crosby.
Any other time, Jeff Heath, how does that ball not come out of Aaron Rodgers' hands on that sack on third?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Come on.
The amount of we just rattled off 6 things that happened in 10 years.
And you blame one guy for it all. And you're blaming one guy for it all.
Yeah. And I got into it with Sean today. Because we were talking about Peter King wrote something that, he's not upset if Jason's the coach of the Giants. That's good for Daniel Jones.
Right.
And I think it is. Jason's at the end of the day, for everything he wasn't as a head coach, he didn't do nothing right for 10 years.
Right.
He did something right. And I got into it with Sean today, and I was like, look, if you're going to blame him and he's going to get all the blame for the shortcomings, then he's got to get
all the credit
for the things that were good, like developing Dak and building a roster that was conducive to this. Let's not forget, we killed Jason. What did we kill Jason for in 2011, 12, and 13? Never running the ball.
Yeah.
Ever. Remember that? And never ran it. Look at the balance. I remember all the interviews we had with Jason early on the show. Jason, where's the balance on this? Where's the balance? Where's the balanced deck? And then what did we kill for at the end? Running too much. Yeah. The guy adapted to what he had. He adapted. He had a pass roll. He passed first guy with Romo, and then he ran first with Dak because he was a young kid. So
I love you, RJ, but I don't think you'll ever change. I don't think you'll ever swing to loving Jason Garret. I just can't.
I understand. They're completely valid arguments. but also it's part of being a fan is being irrational, and this is one of our irrational forever hatreds. Jason
I get
Garret.
it. I get it.
Bro, talk about the bad luck. One of the worst moments I remember obviously the Romo drop snap game. Do you remember the play before, or did I imagine this? Wasn't the play before like a 3rd and 8, and he threw the ball to Jason Witten, and they called it a first down, and they had to review it, and he was like an inch short, and that turned it into a 4th and 1, and we had to kick a field goal because of that. I think that happened.
We did fall short, and then, but I'm only envisioning him running the ball after he dropped it and falling short
and
by
then
about an
Martin
inch.
Gramatica pushing Jordan Babineau, and then Babineau had the interception the year before versus Bledsoe in Seattle when it was like 10-10 at the time.
Let me look. I'm going to look up at the play-by-play.
I'm almost positive it was like a 3rd and 8. And we were at like the 9-yard line, and Romo threw a pass to Witten. They called it a first down. If that happens, it's a first down, right? You're not kicking the field goal there. You're running the ball. You probably score a touchdown. It was under 2 minutes, so the refs reviewed it, and they called him short, which meant we had to kick the field goal on 4th and inches or something.
Well, you're forgetting one thing.
What, Terry Glenn got safetied?
All right.
I could be wrong. It's like 14 years ago, but.
3rd and 7 from the 8.
Mm-hmm.
They threw a pass to Witten for 6 yards. Replay assistant challenged the ruling. The original play was overturned.
Yeah, it was a first down, they called it. They called it a first down. God damn my memory.
Yeah, such useless information to remember. Just
Here's the
misery.
thing. They would have so it would have been a first down, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
At the 1 or the 2.
They probably would have ran the ball, scored a touchdown, or kneeled it. Regardless, it's just another bad luck.
And that's the other thing. How does Tony's legacy
change?
Yeah. No, you're right.
And if that wasn't the start of his rise, right?
Right, and that's why I hate judging guys on rings, because in the NFL at least, because it's a one and done.
Yeah. I got you.
Michael Jordan won 1 title in college, and he almost didn't win that one.
Yeah. Now, you say he's a bad player.
RJ, what do you think the past 15 years, 17 years, because we always have like one guy in mind. Why has it been so hard to like replace a Darren Woodson? Like that safety, you know what I mean? Like it just seems like every year we're filling people in and we can't get that safety. And that's why, would you have done the Jamal Adams trade if all they wanted was a first rounder? I mean, you were closer to it than we were. Is that what the Jets wanted?
They asked for 2. Didn't they ask for 2? 2 ones? For Jamal Adams?
I mean, they may have wanted 1, but I wouldn't have done it.
No. Interesting.
Do they just devalue the safety, or do you – sorry to cut you off. Do they just devalue the safety, or do you –
I think they have it right. Yeah, so analytically, let's see, here's the thing. It's not that they don't value it, is that because with Marinelli, they valued the secondary, right?
Right.
But he's a strong safety in today's game. I mean, how much is this? I know he's not a technical strong safety. I mean, he actually is. He plays other positions more than strong, but strong is what he plays the most of any one spot. I wouldn't have paid it. I wouldn't have done it because you would have to pay him.
Yeah.
So you do him pick and cash.
Okay.
I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done
Gotcha.
Why is it hard to replace Darren Woodson? Because Darren Woodson should be in the Hall of Fame.
Right. Yeah, I get it, but it's like it seems like there's free agents out there, and we just never draft the safety. I don't know. It just that one.
That is the one infuriating thing is every year that we're at pick 18, 19, 20, and there's a great or supposedly great. Now, actually looking back on it, none of them were really superstars that were there, but like you get to that spot. And as a fan, you're like, all right, it's such a clear, obvious need. Every year we watch a Jeff Heath blow this play, or Xavier Woods or Deontay Thompson from the 6th round getting the start. And you start to think, like, shouldn't at one point that's every other piece has pretty strong pieces in place, but safety, do we not address the need there? And I know we had Byron Jones, so we swapped him in and out of corner. We addressed the cornerback position at that point, moved him on. But just one of those things that always drives me insane. But if it's, and I'm sure they have people who do this for real, for a living, right? And I'm sure analytics say that there's no need for it. But I would argue that that's your nickel linebacker, although we have two speedy enough linebackers as is now. But it's just one of those things that's frustrating as a fan watching every year.
Analytically, it might be the right way to do it, but they do so many things wrong analytically that it doesn't really matter. They don't make any sense.
Yeah.
They spend first-round picks on linebackers, which analytically is not a good idea, but they do.
Right.
So
RJ, the schedule. What do you think they'll be this year? Do you think this is a team that could compete? How do you think they'll finish? You think they'll win the division?
Assuming nothing with Corona is happening, just with the blank slate.
I have them at 10-6.
Okay.
I have them starting out 4-4 and finishing 6-2. I think they beat. I don't think San Fran will be as good. I think they're a little bit. I don't want to say a fraud, but they're going to come back to the.
That's that typical team that's good. Everyone will be on them, and then they'll drop down to earth.
They overachieved with their defense. Yeah. It's the same thing with
They're the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears. You have a million turnovers, and then the next year you don't get them, and all of a sudden,
right? They're the Bears or the Jaguars. That's all they are. Just look at the Jaguars 2017. That's what they are.
Right.
I think they're 10-6. I think they win the division.
Now, what's your favorite memory as a Cowboy being down there? Like a play, a game?
A call.
Oh. Dude, honestly, the first time I saw Parcells.
Okay.
This fool walks into that building, and he had it was like January or February. He was in the building. Dude had shorts on in the building with penny loafers, no socks. And I was like, that's my guy. That's my guy right there. That guy has hung out at Saratoga quite a bit. I love him. That was cool for me because I was young. I was my second year in the industry at ESPN. I was like, this is great. I got Bill Parcells right next to me. That was probably the coolest thing.
Now, down there in Dallas, what hurts the most out of these three? The Dez catch, the Romo snap, or Nelson Cruz misjudging the fly ball in 2011?
The Cowboys are always going to be higher than everybody else, but there's no guarantee they win the game with the Dez catch.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, how much time was left on the clock during the thing with the Romo? Oh, there wasn't much at all. It was
no, they would have won.
It was pretty much
yeah. So Nelson Cruz, they win the World Series if he makes that catch. You're saying that's it?
Yeah,
it means nothing.
With the Romo thing, now here's the thing: the Cowboys would have beat the Bears the next year.
Yes, I agree with that. They would have. They matched up well that year versus them.
They would have run into New Orleans eventually and got their ass whooped.
Yes. We got crushed at home by them that year.
Yeah. 42-17 or something like that.
I think Julius Jones started that game off with like a 90-yard touchdown run, and I was pumped up, and then they got the shit beat out of them afterwards.
So I would say the Nelly Cruz only because of the finality of it.
Yeah.
Even with the Dez catch, and I think the Cowboys, I mean, we all saw them beat Seattle once that year, but let's be real. Were they going to go up there again and do it?
Tough. And they would have had to play the Pats anyway, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, probably the Nelly Cruz just because of the moment.
Nice. Kev, you got anything else for RJ before I get to our gun to the head segment?
Yeah, just real quick have you had the chance to see? Well, probably not, right? Because of I was going to ask if you've had the chance to see like what McCarthy's bringing in and doing in terms of stuff there, but because of the coronavirus, I guess that's a wash, right?
Nothing.
Is that exciting for you to be able to follow and report on the team with new coaching? Because I remember watching the draft this year and being like, this is the first time in 10 seasons I don't have a pretty good idea as to what we're going to do. So it's like all brand new. It's
totally
exciting.
We're in the dark here. We're in the dark right now. Yeah. We're totally in the dark. So it's cool. It's cool to see. I hate seeing somebody lose their job, but it's cool to see because we don't know. We have no idea.
And the take is new, right? You don't have to recycle the same old Not that you're doing that anyway, but the same old Jason versus Jerry story that every other public outlet has to do every year.
That's all it is. I mean, and we used to get a lot of leeway out of that, a lot of mileage, I should say.
Yeah.
Now, what is the percentage, and this will probably be like 1% or less, what is the percentage that, the Dak thing doesn't work out, somehow they trade him, and we trade for Aaron Rodgers to reunite with Mike McCarthy?
0.
It's a real fantasy land.
0.
God damn.
Because that would be downgrading quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, it's worth a shot. I don't know. Yeah. All right.
Wow.
RJ, thanks for coming on. We got a really quick gun to your head segment. First thing that comes to your mind when I ask you this. Ready?
Yep.
All right. What's the worst Cowboys jersey you ever owned?
Keyshawn.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
You want to? Okay, my list. What's the worst one out of this? I had a Brady James, Bobby Carpenter, and Billy Cundiff jersey.
Cundiff. Who gets a kicker jersey?
I would have said Bobby Carpenter.
I had a Dan Bailey jersey, too. All right. Whole wheat or white bread?
Oh, man. A fat roll. Neither. Fat roll.
Yeah, all right. Hoagie roll. Jason Witten or Jason Novacek?
Witten. Tennessee. Go Vols.
Antonio Bryant or Laurent Robinson?
Antonio Bryant. You
Nice.
take balls to throw a jersey at Bill Parcells.
Would you rather be able to punt 60 yards consistently or consistently kick a 45-yard field goal?
Consistently kick a 45-yard field goal.
All right. Texas barbecue or New Jersey pizza?
Pizza. 100 times out of 100.
Nice.
Would you rather get stung by a bee or bit by a spider?
What kind of spider?
The Black Widow.
Stung by a bee.
Favorite Cowboy of all time?
Dak Prescott. I'm
Really?
sorry. I can't say that. Michael Irvin.
Would you rather have a pet snake or pet tarantula?
Tarantula.
All right, rank these losses. 2005 Monday night versus Redskins, where he blew a 13-0 lead in the final 2.5 minutes. Garrett icing his own kicker in 2011, or the 44-6 beating in 2008 to the Eagles.
Redskins.
Yeah, wasn't that horrible? Mark Brunell to Santana, like that one. And Jose Cortez as our kicker.
Made no sense.
Oh, my God.
No sense.
Best memory. The game versus the Bills in 2007, beating Seattle in 2014, or here's one for you. 2005 Monday night versus the Eagles. We're down 20-7 with 3 minutes left. Terry Glenn scores a touchdown. For some reason, the Eagles throw the ball. Roy Williams has a pick six to beat Philly in Philly.
Buffalo game.
Really? The 5 interception ones? All right.
I like that you tried to lead that question by saying 2 quick things and then an extremely long explanation of the one you wanted.
Last one. Mike Modano or Dirk Nowitzki?
Ooh.
Oh, man. So I think I used to think Madonna was the greatest at his craft of any DFW athlete. Like, he was better at what he did than anybody else. But now it's Dirk. So I got Dirk.
God.
Slightly over Mo. Those guys are legends, though.
RJ, plug yourself, what you're on, so if we're up here in Jersey, they know where to listen to you.
We are 105throughthefan.com, the radio.com app. You can check out Shan and myself. It's the Shan and RJ show, 5:30 to 10 Central Time, so 6:30 to 11 for you guys. I'm on Twitter at RJ CHOPPY, Facebook, Instagram. I am not on the snaps of chat. You can find me anywhere. I think I'm on Twitch, but I've never tweeted.
I have no idea what to call it.
Right. RJ, thanks for coming on, man. And if you come up to New Jersey, you got friends now, and we could go out and have a beer.
Yeah,
I'll be there. I come up probably once a year, once every 2 years. So
hey, send me a message. We'll get together.
Gotcha, bro. Be good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right.
Bye.